Up with KREM begins now.
Here on your Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham. We also want to welcome you in if you're streaming us on KREM 2+. Let's start things off by kicking it off with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. We're calling for a weather impact alert today because of rain and snow. Thomas, full disclosure, this forecast seems to be very tricky, but you're following it very closely. Good morning.
Certainly doing my best out there, Tim, and that's because we have this rain versus snow style event, and that can obviously be very tricky to forecast in the first place. But I'll tell you what, we keep our weather impact alert day in place simply because it's going to be messy one way or another, whether it is snow, whether it is rain, whether it's just a slush out there on the roads. It's going to be messy today. That I know for sure. The latest on Doppler radar showing at least some very light snow or rain showers for portions of central Washington. It's a bit colder over the eastern slopes of the Cascades, so areas like Yakima, Ellensburg, and even out towards Wenatchee and Kashmir are seeing snow this morning. We're going to wait a little bit longer in Spokane, but by the time it arrives, it'll be a snow or rain mix during the day on this Wednesday.
Here's a live look at I-90 in Freya as we take a look at the traffic impact this morning. It looks like you can see in the distance there traffic volume starting to pick up just a tad, and also the cloud cover starting to move out, but that's for now before that weather system does move in. Right now we're keeping a close eye on traffic throughout our area. We'll let you know if anything changes. On Up with KREM, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. This morning a Stevens County road is back open after a fatal crash. The crash blocked US 395 in both directions just south of Colville for about 8 hours. Washington State Patrol says a car and a semi-truck crashed just after 5 o'clock yesterday evening near Addie Gifford Road. We now know 49-year-old Denya Wilkins from Deer Park died at the scene. WSP says Wilkins crossed the center line and crashed into the semi. WSP says Wilkins was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. The driver of the semi was not hurt. Covering homelessness, public camping has been a divisive issue in Spokane and across the state. Yesterday, Spokane County Commissioners passed a resolution to make sure their ordinance matches the language in a Supreme Court ruling. Martin versus the City of Boise states cities cannot enforce anti-camping ordinances on public property if they do not have enough shelter beds. The Supreme Court overturned the ruling last summer. Yesterday, county commissioners discussed the language and passed a resolution with a 4-0 vote. It removes the requirement that the county has to have available shelter space to enforce the camping ban. Yesterday, some people voiced concerns, saying a one-size-fits-all approach cannot combat many different circumstances contributing to homelessness. In response, county leaders say they did not want compassion to become enabling.
Accountability, thank you, is critical. We need to hold each other accountable for our actions. We also need to hold those that are looking for help accountable for theirs.
The county commissioners say they will keep working to find a solution to keep residents of the county safe. For the first time since becoming fully operational, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office gave an update on their new real-time crime center. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones live in Spokane for us right now. So Brandon, tell us more about this. What trends has the Sheriff's Office seen so far? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tom. Well, so far, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office says the Real-Time Crime Center has been a success. Yesterday, they had a chance to sit down with Spokane County Commissioners to provide some of those updates and recent numbers since they became fully operational. Since August, officials say the Real-Time Crime Center played a critical role in 140 success stories. That includes 89 arrests and charges. 54 stolen vehicles have also been recovered, and 2 missing persons have been located since fully operational moments. Then a few other success stories were shared, but overall the Sheriff's Office credits the safety impact to enhanced technology and a streamlined workflow inside of the new center.
When it comes to charges, recoveries, overall public safety value far exceeds what one officer or detective can do by themselves.
So the Sheriff's Office says their biggest challenge moving forward is maintaining funding. American Rescue Plan Act funds will expire at the end of 2026. So one of their goals this year is to pursue technology grants and other funding opportunities to expand their camera network and underlying infrastructure. Moving forward, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office says they'll be providing these quarterly updates on all of their numbers and the impact of the real-time crime center throughout a quarterly basis. But for now, reporting live here in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
A person arrested in Maryland is suspected to be a leader of a cult-like group connected to crimes across the country. Court documents state a person named Jack Lasota and 2 other people were arrested for trespassing. All 3 suspects were wanted for questioning related to killings in other states. One of those murders was the shooting of a Vermont Border Patrol agent. A Seattle woman is facing charges in that deadly shooting. In national headlines, delegations from the U.S. and Russia met in Saudi Arabia for talks about ending the war in Ukraine without any Ukrainian delegates at the meeting. Yesterday, after more than 4 hours of talks, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. and Russia have agreed to appoint high-level teams to work on a path to end the war in Ukraine. The Trump administration also says the U.S. and Russia agreed to restore embassy staffing in Moscow and D.C.
For us to be able to continue to move down this road, we need to have diplomatic facilities that are operating and functioning normally.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he was not invited to yesterday's meeting, saying his country needs to be a part of the conversation about its future. European allies are concerned, but British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he's willing to offer British peacekeeping troops to Ukraine if a U.S. security commitment is the only way to ensure lasting peace. Also overseas, Pope Francis is spending his 6th day in a hospital with a complex respiratory infection. Officials say he's not going to participate in the Holy Year events this weekend, and his papal audience set for Saturday has been canceled. The Vatican says he will be hospitalized for as long as necessary, describing his condition as a mix of viruses, bacteria, and fungi.
It is 6:07 as we look at our weather forecast today. Bit of a wintry mix on the way. And for the areas that get precipitation in the morning hours specifically, it is more likely going to be snow and a wintry mix. And that's where we see our winter weather advisories issued for central Washington, southern Washington, kind of along the Cascades, skipping over Spokane and then into Montana, that for tomorrow morning. So that's why it looks kind of odd to see a strip of no advisories down the middle, because really it's more likely going to be rain right down the middle because of this afternoon. So any precipitation this morning, snow or a wintry mix. In the afternoon, it would change over to rain with temperatures above the freezing mark. One more look at Doppler radar this morning, showing just a few very light snow or rain showers over central Washington for now, slowly advancing towards eastern Washington.